Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be putting the TrueTrac in the 8.8 for the Mustang. I'm going to show you a few things before it gets started, what you need to do and check for. I already removed the rear cover. Mainly, your main thing is you got to check for backlash, or what the stock backlash is, and then you can go from there. I'll show you the setup and then the TrueTrac. Well, basically I got the magnetic dial indicator here, and you don't need to set it on the teeth. You can just put it on a bolt. That, as long as you're getting the movement, that is all you're looking for. So you just, we're gonna see where you're at here, and then you want to match that when you get this back together. So all you got to do, the pinion cannot move. It's like on the table there. So the stock setting is pretty much 10 thousandths. So that's when we're done, where we're going to want to reset it. That should keep the, the wear pattern exactly where it was before. So shouldn't create any noises because you're trying to, run it in a different position. Here's the TrueTrac. You see there's some gears inside of here. It's all solid here. So the only thing we got to do is mount the bearings. And what I have is the toaster oven out here, and I'm heating these bearings up. I do have a press, but you know what? When they slide on, that's just that much easier. So I'm waiting for them to heat up a little bit, and we can just drop those on. But then now we're just going to remove these caps, and this may or may not come out easy. I have no idea. Supposedly they are a little tough to get out. Might have to put this in the press, and they say to squeeze it like on the top and bottom, and that helps spread it a little bit. So we'll see, but hopefully I can get it out without that. All right. So with just the pry bar and getting about like right here with it and just hitting it a few times, I was able to break this loose. And now it's not even touching the pinion anymore. It's about halfway out. So I can just get this out. I'll have to take the ring gear off. And then I got to get the bearings on there. And then there's large shims on each side. You want to keep those on the sides it came from, because you're going to try these first, and hopefully they'll be what you need, and the backlash will be the same. If not, the bearings I got came in a kit with shims, so we're just gonna get this the rest of the way. It's like kind of easier to do on the table and kind of not, because it's easier because the way you could work on it, but it's not as easy because unless I build some kind of bracket to hold this thing, it's a little hard to keep it in place. So we're going to keep this on this side. Keep this one on this side. I'm not worried about these because, I could clean the one I dropped, but I have new bearings, obviously, in races. So now that this is out, I just had to get these ring gears out, the ring gear bolts out, pop the ring gear off, and I could heat the ring gear up too to make it drop on the new carrier better, but that's where we're at right now. Now, you gotta get these bolts out. They're 13/16 or your metric equivalent, but 13/16 fit really well. And now you're just gonna, and I also, got cardboard to squeeze it, and on the bottom to not mess this thing up. But just go around it till it comes loose. And it's loose, the only thing holding it is the cardboard. So if I take this, yeah, it's loose. So now I'm going to take this out, and I think I'm going to put the ring gear, it should be fine putting it on cold. Put the ring gear on the TrueTrac before I put the bearing on, because I always do that, and I figure it's just less stress on the bearing if I don't have it in a vise resting on it. So we're going to go ahead and do that. All right, so I got the ring gear on here. I got all 10 bolts like started. So there's usually a gap. It's kind of like slight interference fit. So what you want to do is you want Loctite on these, but not yet. So what I'll do is I'll run all these all the way till the ring gear is pulled up, you know, evenly. And then once the ring gear is tight, we'll take all the bolts out, then put Loctite on, reinstall. Then all we got is the bearings, and hopefully if these shims work, this will be done fairly quick. So let's get these tight. So now it is pulled all the way around, so now I can just take the bolts back out, Loctite it, and then we can actually torque them down with the torque wrench. And I'll have to look up that. I believe it's 80 foot-pounds, but we'll see. So the spec is 70 to 85, so I think I'm gonna try 80. But we gotta tighten that up. It's spinning in there. So I had problems. I couldn't hold this thing from turning because the case is completely round. It's not like the stock one that's got kind of like flat edges on it, so it won't spin. So I end up just using a torque stick. So I set it to the specs like that. I went around it a few times, so I trust that it's fine. So to move on to putting the bearings. But if you got something to hold the thing from turning to torque these bolts, then go ahead. But I don't. They're Loctited, and they should be just a little over 80 foot-pounds with the torque stick. Now the bearing's been cooking for about probably the whole time since I started doing this, so maybe half hour or so. So we're gonna try to drop the bearing on here. I don't know, it's like about 60 degrees in here, and I'm gonna have to use this thing, the crush sleeve, because it's about the right size. If I can't get it to slide down all the way on the initial drop, I'm gonna have to use this and like a hammer like this to tap it down so it seats to the bottom. So let's see what happens. And it is down all the way. So the temperature that those are not, well, normally I would put this in the freezer too, but I didn't have enough time for that. But it is on all the way. Here's a new race. But this actual crush sleeve is like the perfect size. And I don't care if I mess this up because I can get another one. But there is no gap underneath here. So that's what it looks like when it's pressed all the way. And you can see in here, it perfectly fits. So now I have the other race on. So now what you want to do is we're going to check the thickness of these shims, the stock ones. So it's 0.265. You could zero it out, check it again. All right, 0.265. And this is 0.279. I put 0.274. All right, so I went over it a couple more times. This is 2.74, and I wrote it on this wood here, and 2.66 on this side, a total of 0.540. So if I have to change these shims to get the backlash different, I'm gonna want to stay with the 540 total, and when you add up the right and left side. So we're gonna try to put this up in there. I could already tell that it's probably too much, but it might not be in all the way. So I'm gonna have to lightly tap this shim in, and then we'll see where it's at once it's seated all the way. So I really did not think I was gonna get this lucky, but it's right at 11. It was 10 before. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna mess with 1/1000th backlash. So we're gonna torque these down. I'll recheck it and see if it got a little bit less, and then we're gonna let it go. All right, so I torqued the caps down to 80 foot-pounds and rechecked the torque. It's still at 11,000, so I'm gonna leave it there. So for now, I gotta get sealer. I don't think I have any. And put this cover back on, and we're gonna check this out. I'm gonna take the axles out of the other differential that I'm using for plugs so they don't get rusty, and we're gonna see if when I turn this axle, if the other axle will spin the same way, because in the Torsen on the Ford, the stock Ford Torsen, when you turn one, the other side does not spin. So or it spins the other way, I can't remember, but it does not spin the same direction. So we're gonna see what happens. All right, so I can tell you on the Torsen diff from the Ford, you can hold one wheel still and spin this, which I cannot hold this other side from turning. So there is preload. And on the other one, on the Ford Torsen, when you turn one axle, say forward, the other one either spins in reverse direction if you're not touching it, or you can hold it and not turn it at all and just spin one side. So I'm going to turn it clockwise, and it's spinning clockwise. I cannot turn these opposite. I'm trying to the other one is super easy. So there is preload definitely in this thing. Excuse me, to keep it kind of locked. So it's supposed to aid in it actually being like a locker. So I've been wanting to test that, but yeah, I cannot turn it. So there's that test. I'll put it in the other axle and you can see. Here's your standard Ford Torsen, the T2 or TR2, whatever. You see, I'm spinning this forward. This one is spinning backwards, and that's not turning at all up front. If I hold one side still, get that free. Now at the front is turning. And I can easily spin these opposite directions. So there it is. So it's way different than the Ford one. It's got preload, which is perfectly fine, or actually preferred for drag racing, you know, off the line stuff. Other thing to take note is this plate right here. The stock one is like thick where the bolts are and like thin in other spots. So it's all in all thicker than the stock one, and I can show that. I put it in the box, but I can pull it out quick to show that. But I'm gonna see if I got some stuff here, and we're gonna seal this back up and then put the plugs back in. I'm gonna probably paint this thing. A friend of mine was like, why don't you paint it? So I'm just probably gonna pour 15 it, and I probably clean it up and do it with these old seals on there first, and then after it's dried up, I'll pop those out and change it. All right, so I did end up having some leftover sealer or gasket maker from the Torsen 411 that I did when I got it a few months ago. So there was plenty. I probably could do 2 more. So it's just very thin coat on here, and I just put the cover on, tighten all the bolts up. But this is ready to go. The only thing I need is to get oil for it, and they recommend to not use synthetic oil in here because they want they don't want to add any more slickness to the parts so that preload doesn't get disturbed. So there, I believe it's just standard 80-90 weight oil. So I'll look it up again, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw was 80-90. And that's it. So I can't wait to get this part done. And although this part now, I got this down to just like a couple hours. So this swap should be nothing. And then just quick do a flash on it, and that's it. Quick recap on it. This went super good because normally you're not even close with when you change the whole carrier out and new bearings, and to be like one, you know, from 10 thousandths to 11 thousandths, that's way good. So I'm happy with that, and that everything went right the first time. No issues with that. But if you do have to do the shim thing, it's just going to take a lot longer. And thankfully, the carrier was able to come out without having to squeeze it down. But yeah, fairly easy. Everything actually came apart easily. Just might want to have like maybe a different vise with a V grips to it to grab that carrier, so that you could torque those down with a regular torque wrench. I'm not seeing a problem with this. It'll be fine, but nevertheless, that's if you want to do it with the torque wrench, that's what you're gonna have to do. Me torquing the bearing caps down without it being mounted or anything, that was no problem. I was able to hold the differential and get 80 on it, so that wasn't an issue. But other than that, it's just a bolt-in thing. Now I am going to change the side bearings, and you just use a slide hammer for that. But I'm not going to do it like I said right now. I'm going to do that. Probably I'll get a coat of paint on this, and then maybe I'll just do another one doing that, pulling those out, because you can do that without taking the differential apart. You can pop them out with a slide hammer, just grab it from the inside and pull them out, because I have them to replace, so I am going to do it. So, but that's all there is for this. And please hit that like and subscribe button, and we will catch you on the next one.